secou, Chinese.
Another competitive outlet. So. Welcome to this week's episode of Tennis United. Vashik and I took a break last week to let some of the other pressing issues going on in the world take a little more precedent. But Vashik, it is good to be back this week.
Yeah, it's great to be back. As I'm sure you've seen over the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of players coming out and expressing their opinions and using their platforms to really unite with one clear message that there's no room for racism and discrimination in the world. And I found it interesting to hear from Frances Tiafoe and Taylor Townsend on last week's show on the struggles they've been going through.
Yeah, Vashik, it was really amazing to hear from Taylor and Frances and for them to be open and tell us their story. So many other players have been opening up. You heard from Coco Gauff, from Serena. We are making amazing strides in tennis. And on the topic of equality, June is Pride Month, and we are really excited to be celebrating all types of equality, starting with an interview with Martina Navratilova and James Blake.
In addition to that, we'll be wrapping it up with a discussion with two former French Open champions.
All right, on that note, Vashik, let's jump right into it. Very lucky to have our first interview of Pride Month with Martina Navratilova and James Blake. Martina, I really want to know what this month means to you and how you've seen Pride Month evolve over the years.
Well, I mean, you remember the old slogan, "You've come a long way, baby," from Virginia. And when it comes to gay rights and equality for all, we have come a long way, baby. I was never going to lose my job because I was gay. Tennis was welcoming, but still, it was, you better keep quiet. You don't want to make waves because we don't want to lose sponsors. Now we're getting embraced. If anything, we're getting more sponsors for Pride Month, etc. So it's come a long way. We're still not 100% there, but tennis has always been so open-minded and welcoming to all, and we're leading the way. So it's nice to know that.
We have players from every color, race, country, you name it. It's really a sport that kind of brings everyone together, and that's one of the amazing things about the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I was going to ask you, James, just the steps in the right direction. Like, what have you seen?
Yeah, I'm definitely proud of tennis. Proud to be a part of this sport. Just like Martina said, it has come a long way. It continues to go in the right direction. One of the things I'm pretty bummed about with missing the Miami Open and not having it is we last year we did an Out at the Open event, celebrate Pride Month, to celebrate the diversity, and we had a great function. I was there to visit with the players and the fans, and I was really looking forward to making it even bigger and better. And that's one of the things I was getting the most interaction with on social media, people asking me, like, are we going to have that again? And I was proud to be a part of that. So those kind of events really make me feel like tennis is going in the right direction. And I think part of that is, tennis is played with the possible exception of Roger Federer, who is, 38 years old and still being that good. It's a young person sport. And I feel like younger people are starting to lead the way in terms of these generations about having inclusivity and being together. And this Tennis United is a great platform for that. With so many young players on tour, they're the ones that are so much more open-minded and so much, you're not dealing with the status quo, this old system, the old beliefs of tennis being an old, rich, white man sport. So many barriers got shattered, and I feel like at times it was cracks, and then shattered by people like Martina, by people like Serena and Venus, by Arthur Ashe, by Althea Gibson. So many of the old sort of stodgy ways were shattered.
Careful how you use that word, old.
No. I just feel like we're definitely going in the right direction, and so many players have the right attitude, and I was definitely proud to be in many of those locker rooms, and I think the locker room is getting more and more inclusive every day and every year.
And Martina, do you have any moments maybe that bring back a good memory or that stick out over the years on something that was maybe a massive step in the right direction, or maybe something you were involved with, an event that really stands out? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
It's just gradually come to where gay people come out, less and less attention is being paid to that. And that this is what the whole idea was. When my mom used to tell me, "Why are you always the one marching and holding the flag in the front line?" I'm like, "Well, there's not that many people behind me." But I was marching so that one day we don't have to march at all, and we're still marching. But it's so nice to have those kind of steps forward where people don't care, which was the whole point. I'm like, the point is we shouldn't have to make a disclaimer one way or the other, but right now we do. So we're getting closer and closer to where it's just nobody cares, and that was the whole point. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, I wanted to ask you, like, tennis has always had pioneers for social justice with Billie Jean King and Arthur Ashe. Which person has inspired you the most?
For me, I related so much to Arthur Ashe, someone that valued education. I learned so much more about him because he was an idol of my father's, and my father was really someone I looked up to, and he's the one that got me into tennis. So when I heard about how much he respected Arthur Ashe, it made me want to learn more about him and made me want to sort of be like him. I always thought, after reading a lot about him, unfortunately, I was too young to ever really get to know him. It just, to me, seemed like he was the type of person that if there were more and more people that believed like him and had the same philosophies, that things would be better. And in my opinion, a lot of people are learning from those examples, and the world is getting better. The tour is getting better and better. So I'm just optimistic about those kind of things. And I think a lot of it had to do with me really looking up to and in some ways trying to emulate, probably far from it, but doing my best to think of what Arthur did and what he sacrificed to make it easier for people like me.
Yeah, I think for me, my tennis idol was always Rod Laver, being left-handed, playing the way he did. I saw him when I was 9 years old in Prague, and just this is who I want to be. This is how I want to play. But and then I met him, and he's just as humble a champion as you'll ever meet. Such a nice man. So it's really nice when you meet your idol, and they're actually better as a human being than you ever imagined. But looking back, I did not know what Althea Gibson went through just to play tennis. Being a girl and being an African American. I mean, the obstacles she had to overcome, the toughness that she had to be. I did not realize what all she went through until later in life. So I wish I could see her again and say, you know what, my hat is off to you in a big way, because she had to overcome so much. Where, again, when I came out, I knew I could still play tennis, but she could not play some tournaments because of the color of her skin.
All right, last question, guys. Last one, Martina, for you. Obviously, still a way to go, but why do you think tennis, has been kind of the leading sport for the gender conversation?
Well, I think we had the platform, we had the, we had the visibility. Jumped hugely forward with Billie Jean King beating Bobby Riggs in '73, and really pushed the women's equality movement forward. And transcended the sport itself into society. And sports has always been a very powerful tool for social change. As Nelson Mandela said, sports has the power to change the world. And tennis has been at the forefront. It's one of the oldest sports. Very easy to play. You can hit a ball against the wall if you just have a racket and a ball. So and again, it really has no favoritism. You either win the match or you lose it. You don't get ahead because your dad is your coach and on the team. There is no favoritism. You have to earn your way. And I think because of that, we can really speak and lead the way, because we got here because we are that good. And therefore, when we speak, we can speak with authority and lead the way for social change.
Well, James and Martina, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. Always amazing to catch up with you guys, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for taking your time. We appreciate what you do, Bethany and Vasek. Martina, thank you as always. Right. You guys are doing a great thing here with this Tennis United.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining.
Yes. Thanks for coming on the show. Right now, as we both know, it is French Open time, and I know you have some awesome memories from Roland-Garros. Tell me a little bit about your last post. I know you talked about the year that you won it, so walk me through some of those memories.
Yeah, gosh, it's incredible. I mean, can you believe it's been 20 years now? I just can't believe it. Time is just...
You look amazing, though.
Thank you.
You look like you go back out there and play now.
Yeah, I mean, you look amazing, too. I just have to say your teeth are incredible.
Thank Thank you. My dentist is gonna be so pumped.
Yeah, so French Open 20 years ago, like I cannot believe that it was 20 years ago. Like time has just flown by. It doesn't actually feel like it's been that long for me. But when I think back to it, gosh, you know, like just the week before, I wasn't feeling great. Like I had like a bad result the week before, lost first round to a lower ranked player than me. I had an injury, like I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to play the French Open three days beforehand. And on top of it, I was like playing the doubles as well.
Okay, so singles and double. Who were you playing
with
doubles
Martina Hingis.
Okay.
And I remember a really special moment, probably like the second special moment after winning it, was when in my first round, I was standing on the Châtelet court. I hadn't walked off the court yet, feet still on the red clay. And it was like this little voice inside just said, maybe this is your year. Maybe this year. Yeah, and it just ended up being my year. So, I mean, it was amazing, you know, going through like the different matches that I had to play and then, you know, like Monica in the quarters. And then another match was the semis against Martina Hingis because we were friends and we're playing doubles. It's a big match, so it was pretty tough to play against her. And in the third set, we were cramping basically at the end of the match.
Yeah.
We were both cramping. I was like, oh my gosh, am I gonna be able to finish this match? You're trying not to let her know you're cramping.
Were you and Martina still in the doubles
Yes.
while you were playing? Okay, so you were still in the doubles. Okay.
So that was because we actually won the doubles that year too.
Okay, damn. So you were just like, I'm done. Like French Open 2000, like
Double whammy.
and then moving into the finals.
Obviously, you know, being super nervous like you are for a Grand Slam final. I'd already been in a few, but it's the French Open and it's my dream to win it. And I had been in one final before and I lost it in '94.
Were you thinking about that loss at all? Or were you just like, this is a fresh year, like that was a while ago? Or did that run through your mind at all?
And you think about it because you know that it happened and it's an experience. And then since then I had won the Australian Open, so it gives you confidence that you can actually win one and you know what to do and you know what to expect. But it was amazing. Like the moment you walk out on the court and, you know, the whole crowd just goes crazy and, you know, playing for France and just having the whole crowd behind you and, you know, like the moment winning it, and even just for like match point, championship one, I totally remember myself, you know, saying, oh, Mary, just think like it's 30-15. It's just like,
It's only 30-15, you're good.
and then finally you win the point, you're like, oh, I did it. And you're like, yes, you know, and then I look back to my whole box and my team and, you know, my brother was my coach at the time. So awesome to have him with me. And then my mom was there and then, you know, other family and the rest of my team. It was just like, yes, you know, I did it. And then it's kind of like, you can't believe you did it, but then you're so happy you've done it. And then like you're surprised, relieved, satisfied, happy, like just so many emotions. But you know you have the doubles finals the next day, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. You know, I wanted to win both, you know, and I'm playing with Martina Hingis, and I know we have an awesome chance to win the doubles, and I just was like, yeah, I want to win both. So it wasn't over, basically, let's put it that way. I was like, still focused for the doubles, for sure.
Mary, thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate you coming on the show, coming on Tennis United.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Lots of love. God bless you.
Thank you.
Hold up.
All right, as we continue to talk about equality and opportunity, we wanted to highlight some of the work being done by former Wimbledon finalist and world number 11, Mal Washington. Mal, tell us a little bit about your foundation and the work you're doing in your community.
It's the Mal Washington Youth Foundation. We started it back in the early 90s. It was just me and my dad. And it wasn't until 1997, you know, I was talking to a good friend of mine, my current and still executive director, Terry Florio. And I said, you know, we have this organization on paper. We don't really do anything. We don't have any programs. Do you have any suggestions? And from that conversation, within 12 months, we were really focusing on Jacksonville, partnering with the Boys and Girls Clubs, introducing kids to the sport of tennis. And now here we are, you know, 24 years later, having served over 20,000 kids in some capacity.
That's amazing. And tell me a little bit and tell the fans out there sort of what you think the sport of tennis brings to today's youth and what do you see it doing for them?
For me, I look at all the things I got from the sport of tennis. I mean, it has taught me so much, and literally to this day, I'm still reaping the benefits of the sport of tennis. But early on, it was just introducing kids to the sport in hopes that they could get what I got, the value of hard work and sportsmanship and teamwork, and literally going to the inner city of Jacksonville and introducing kids to something that they'd never otherwise be exposed to.
Very cool. And what's the blue sky with your foundation? Like, what is your big goal with it?
I'm all about longevity, and we want to be a staple in the community. We've been here for 24 years in Jacksonville, and I'd like to think that long after I'm gone and long after our current executive director and our board members are gone and some of our current students are my age now, I'd like to think that the foundation is still striving. That's my goal, is to,
Very cool.
a generation, 2 generations from now, point back to the Mal Washington Youth Foundation and say something happened at that program that changed the trajectory of a few lives in our family. And if they can look back and say that, we're accomplishing what we set out to do.
If you're changing the lives of a few kids locally, it's just as important as if you had this platform talking to 1 million people. And I think, the more of us that can sort of see things that way, it's this quality. It's just, if you can impact one person that day and make a difference, like, who are we to say that that's not as good as impacting hundreds of thousands? Some people have the bigger platform, but some people don't. And I think both are just as important, both in our community, in the country, and covering the world.
Bethany, I describe it like this. Imagine you're running a race. The starting line is the day you were born, and the 100 yards, and it's a 100-yard race. And, that's the day you die. You know what? Some people, because of where they are, who they are, or where they were born and the family they were born into, they're starting on the 20-yard line. They have so many advantages. And honestly, some of the kids that we're serving, you'd be amazed at some of the tragic stories. They're starting at the negative 20-yard line. And so if we can provide them with opportunities that help level the playing field, and then their own motivation and hard work kicks in, guess what? They can make up the difference. And we have so much reach out into the community that if they take advantage of us, they're going to have so many opportunities put in front of them. I mean, there is a value in actually just staying small, serving 25 kids, but serving 25 kids for the next 25 years.
Mal, this has been really awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. And seriously, like, you are a role model for me. I seriously might have to give you a call for some of my pep talks when I'm feeling down. Like, I can feel your energy, I can feel your passion, and really, really do appreciate it. So thank you for sharing all this with us today.
You guys are doing a really good job with the show. Keep it up. I look forward to doing it anytime. I appreciate you guys willing to have me on and let me talk about what we're doing in the community. Thanks so much. Take care, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mal. Take care. I am super excited. Very special guest. Probably one of the most recognizable, likable people that tennis has ever had. The Brazilian legend, Gustavo Kuerten. Guga, how are you doing today?
Hi, Vasek. Okay, it's good to talk to you. Like everybody know already, I'm the dinosaur of the technology, so the internet is coming and going all around. Excuse me about this, but I give an extra effort, okay? With the heart and my passion, I put the heart.
You might not have the best internet, but you have the passion, and that's what we need for this show.
Okay.
All right, Guga, 20 years since your second ROLAND-GARROS title. What are your memories from that event?
This second title was much harder for me because I knew then on the time the meaning of ROLAND-GARROS, what it takes to win. So coming along again in a very dramatic circumstances, especially against Kafelnikov in the quarterfinal, what it took me 5 sets, and the crowd all the time enthusiastic and get myself going and able to.
They pretty much adopted you, right? The yes. French crowd pretty much, like, you're like their son.
They won 2 titles and I won 1. More or less like this. They just give me so much of beliefs to keep on fighting, to be out there for a longer time. A good draw for me on the time. He was coming from nowhere. I end up almost the same scenario, 2 sets to 1 down, and I start to fulfill myself with a little bit of, okay, perhaps I have one more chance, or he will start to get tense because he sees himself in the final, and it ended up well. I won again in 5 sets. I put myself in the final, and finally I need to face Magnus. And it was very, very easy. It was going, you know, smoothly as I could dream of. And with 2 match points, 15-40, he was serving. And I was completely confident, and I knew the title was mine. In my head, it happened already. So he hit the forehand at the long line, a wide forehand that I went to the net and celebrated. Oh, come on. But once I'm going out there, I see he's hesitating, and I look back, I see the umpire going down to check the mark. I said, oops. And then you know what's happening when the umpire calls you. You know it's not a good news.
Yeah, definitely not.
And I knew he would say the ball was good. To make it a little bit simple, it took 50 minutes from this ups and down. I had 11 match points. So this roller coaster took me in the next 50 minutes. Was the most dramatic ever game I've been on, and it ended up well. 7-6 to me at the breaker. He hit the same forehand, but just to the other side of the court, and I went there to stick to the mark, you know, and call the umpire. Said, "Okay, you're gonna come. You want to see, or I'm okay to celebrate now." After all this drama, it really happened.
You're one of the all-time storytellers of our sport. Can't wait to talk again soon. Thanks again for joining us.
Appreciate it. Take care, my friend. Hope everything gets better soon. Bye-bye. All right.
All right, guys. Unfortunately, it is that time again. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is the end of the show.
Vashik, I'm a little sad too. I won't see you for another week, but
I
hope
know
everyone is staying safe and well. Next week, we will be back with an interview with Stefanos Tsitsipas, Naomi Osaka. But until then, we're going to leave you with a little number from Bob Bryan and his family. Stay well.
See you guys.
2, ready, go.